Welcome back to the channel, everyone. It's Ken. Today we are going to rank all the legendaries in Perils and Paradise. The entire set has been revealed, so we're only a week away, actually 8 days away from the official release. Before the release comes out, I promise you I will have deck lists for all 11 classes. Now that the entire set is revealed, I really think that this set is quite good. This is the most excited I've been for a set in a long time. But today, I just want to rank the legendaries against each other, so we're going to get straight into it. We'll start with Death Knight, right? We'll just start right off the top and move down so we have buttons. The Death Knight Shaman tourist, draw a spell of each school. Now, I don't want to... Obviously, all the tourists are going to be great cards, right? The ability to play another class is good. So instead of ranking the tourists based on that, because they'll all be A or higher, we're going to rank it based on the secondary ability, right? So in this case, it's draw a spell of each school. Death Knight traditionally has access to 2 spell schools, Frost and Shadow. Shaman will give it access to Nature and Fire, and potentially a little more. But at the very least, with some, decent deck building, you're going to have a 5 for 5/5, a 5/5 for 5, that draws you 2 cards, which is tremendous upside. So for me, I believe that's actually an A card. I think that is going to be a very, very strong card. Obviously, we'll see play, but I think the effect is reliable and quite good. Eliza Goreblade, in my card reveal, I kind of kept this pretty low on my list, but I think it is a lot better than I gave it credit for. It is undead, it is pirate, its stats are kind of underwhelming, but it's a death rattle, and for the rest of the game, your minions have +1 attack. I think that effect is going to be pretty strong. I'm going to go ahead and put Eliza into the B category. I don't think that is as bad as I had predicted. So let's move on to the next class. Arana, Thrill Seeker, Demon Hunter. The Priest Tourist, damage your hero takes on your turn is redirected to a random enemy. So this is a 5 for 5/6, so slightly on average with the vanilla stats on the card, and it gives you access to priest cards, which is going to be powerful because, quite frankly, most of the priest reveals belong for Demon Hunter. Now, the issue here is the effect only happens when this card is in play, and we have the 1 mana deal 4 damage, which means 1 mana deal 8. There are spells, there are ways that, you can use hero power and attack a minion. There are ways to take advantage of this ability, but they cost more than, like you're looking anywhere between 1 to 3 or 4 extra mana. So this is really a late game drop, like turn 9. And I think realistically, Demon Hunter wants to be much more aggressive. So I actually don't think that, even though as a tourist effect, Arana is going to be great, I don't think the on-card effect is as good as we think. So, in my opinion, it's a little underwhelming, but I will keep him in B. It's a cool card, but I just don't. I as far as tourists go, I don't think it's that strong. Patches the Pilot, Battle Cry, shuffle 6 parachutes into your deck that summon a 1/1 pirate charge withdrawn. 1/1 demon pirate. I like it. It affects a lot of demon pools, but I think it's still pretty strong. It's going to see play. It's an A card to me. It's a really, really good card. So that's Demon Hunter. We move on to the next class, which is Druid. Mista Vista, 5 mana for a 5/5. Mage Tourist, Battle Cry, in 3 turns, replay every spell you've cast between now and then. Now, as far as Tourist goes, this is one of, if not the best Tourist, okay? Simply because you give Druid access to big mage spells, and Druid already has a couple big spells that it wants to play, and Mage gives you access to like the Surfapod and King Tide and crazy ways to kind of cheat out that effect. That said, the effect, Battle Cry, in 3 turns, you play every spell you've cast between now and then, is insane, right? So turn 5, this comes down. Turn 6, you play a couple spells. Turn 7, you play a couple spells, and the next turn you get all the value for those if you survive, and if those spells get you to where you need to go in terms of maintaining presence on the board. I think that is going to be a lot better than when you think. Traditionally, when you think about spells that you have access to, you think about Um, Not necessarily tempo, but gaining armor or drawing cards. However, I do think that Druid, especially with access to mage spells, will have access to some very, very powerful um, board dominating type of effects. So I think this card is very, very good. I'm actually going to put this in S tier. This is a very, very strong effect. Next is Cruiser Captain Laura, 7 for a 4/5 pirate, battle price, summon 2 locations. Um, in my opinion, this is just garbage. This is close to unplayable. This is unplayable. Quite frankly, this is unplayable. 2 locations might be cool, but they're random, so we don't know. And it's not like you only get Perils in Paradise locations, right? You can get Puppet Theater, Dance Floor, you can get something that could be totally useless for you. And to pay 7 mana for that and have a body that's extremely weak, this is trash. This won't see play. I think this is just a flat out bad card. Which is okay because Druid has the absolute nuts in support. But anyway, moving on. Hunter, Ranger Gilly, which is the Warrior Tourist. At the end of your turn, get a 2/3 calculus, and Death Rattle, give all minions in your hand +2/+3. I think, obviously it's cool to get access to Warrior cards, so that'll be a great effect. But as far as the tourist effects themselves, or the card effects themselves, a 6 mana for a 4/6, that's understated. Getting a 2/3 at the end of the turn, that is okay. But the 2/3 is, slightly negligible. Because obviously you get this. This means you get 6/9 worth of stats for 6, which is good. That is good. And a Death Rattle, give all minions in your hand +2/3/3, so 2/3. So it's a hand buff card. I think this fits actually more into Highlander, to be honest. But I think this card is subpar, if anything. So it is probably one of the weaker tourists in the game. I'm going to put it in C. Oh, we skipped the other Hunter legendary. Sasquatch, the 7 mana 4/5 battle cry. Repeat each card you played last turn. I think it's quite good. This is going to go actually pretty high. I'm debating about actually putting that right in A. I think I will. I think this is going to be a pretty good card. So, and you get the diamond for it, but you got to pay some serious money for it. So, that card will see a lot of play, I think, especially on Priest. So, I like it. Next was the Paladin Tourist from Mage. Rayla, the Sand Sculptor. After you cast a spell, summon a random 2-cost minion and give it Divine Shield. Well, obviously, in terms of the tourist effect, this is one of the better ones because now Mage gets access to Paladin, so it gets access to Lifeguard, it gets access to Grillmaster, makes it very, very strong. I think Mage will have some very good sustainability this patch, but we'll see. The effect, though, after you cast a spell, summon a random 2-cost minion and give it Divine Shield, I wouldn't say it's horrible, but it doesn't, strike me as very, very crazy. But I wouldn't be surprised if there was some kind of tempo-based aggressive deck that could utilize this card's effect really well. I'll put it in B. Better than Arana, but not as good as Elise. King Tide for a 4/4 battle cry. Both players cost 5. Both players' spells cost 5 until the end of your next turn. This is a lot better than people think. This is S tier. Straight up. You can't use this in every... Okay, you know what? Let's not make it S tier. We'll put it in A just because you can't, obviously, it only fits a couple particular niche styles, but it is very, very strong, and it's going to be meta warping. It'll be quite the card. So we'll keep King Tide there. Mage, eating good this expansion. Paladin, Sunsapper Linessa, the Rogue Tourist. Your spells that cost 2 or less cast twice. That's... I don't... This might be pretty good. But as far as the effect goes, I think it's pretty weak. Giving access to rogue cards is obviously pretty decent, but I think overall the body is weak, and the effect, well, relatively power, it's not that powerful in my opinion. This is gonna go down to C, so not that good. I think it's even worse than the Hunter one. So Sandcastle, Rush after attacks turn into a location, 5 for the 3/8. This is one of the best cards in the game. So adamant about it. I'm pretty sure it's gonna go up into S tier. I mean, this is just so too strong. You get tempo, you're able to buff the location. Like you can do so much with this card. It's absolutely bonkers. Like it's an elemental. It's gonna find play in a lot of decks. So really strong. And here we go. Priest, Children, Vol'jin, Hunter Tourist, Battlecry, choose 2 minions, swap their stats. I think this is overrated, but it's not bad. So obviously giving you access to Hunter cards is good, but this can't be played onto an empty board like the original Vol'jin can be played. So I would say this is just base par for the course. It's not that crazy, but I'll put it up here in the high B tier. I don't think it's that crazy. Narain Suit Fancy though. 4 mana, 4/4 Battlecry, get 2 fortunes that are copies of the top card of your deck. This, on the other hand, is pretty wild. And this is quite the card. This is a high A, in my opinion. I'll put it right up here. But this is a very, very strong card. One of the best reveals in the set. A for me. And that was Priest. We move on to Rogue. Maestra, the Basque Merchant, Warlock Tourist, Battlecry, discover a hero card from the past. So this allows you to change it to one of these many heroes here, including Guff. But remember, this is a 6 mana hero. So, you're getting your Guff so late in the game. We're saying Guff, but there are a ton of other options, right? But my opinion, this is a little too slow. I don't want to say it's one of the worst tourists because it's definitely one of the better designed cards in the game. I'll put it in high B, but it is really not that good. Obviously, getting access to Warlock cards will prove to be pretty influential. But I don't, as the effect itself, as fun as the effect is, it's not the strongest. I'll put it in low B. That's being generous. I don't think it should be that high. And speaking of cards that shouldn't be that high, Hunter Eudora, 6 for the 4/5 Battlecry. While these cards are great, there's too many to make this like a reliable win condition, in my opinion. And when a card is a win condition card and it's not reliable, it's bad. So for me, Euphora, whatever his name is, it's F tier. Probably better than this other Druid one. Druid one is so bad. And now we move on to Carefree Cookie, the Shaman Demon Hunter Tourist. After a friendly minion dies, summon a random minion that costs 1 more. I don't know what to tell you guys, but this card is wild, and Shaman getting Demon Hunter cards is also wild. So up here for one of the best cards in the deck for the set so far. Really, really strong card. Just good. Caress, the Cabaret Star. While in your hand, play 2 different spell schools to transform. This is just a solid card. I'll put it somewhere here at A tier, probably right here. It is quite good. Very, very strong. Shaman, it's going to do well this expansion as well. Going to be a very fun class to play. Warlock, the Death Knight Tourist is summon a Dark Marrow. Your Death Rattles trigger twice. After you play a Death Rattle minion, destroy it. So, this gives you access to Eliza, Goreblade. You can play this into Eliza, but that feels so late. That just feels like such a bad play, and you're only going to get, +2 on your minions at the point? I mean, that's still something, but overall, I think this is a weaker tourist. I don't see the Death Rattle synergy. Maybe I'm not missing it. Maybe I'm missing it. Obviously, there's Ouroboros, but I don't. To me, it's on the weaker end of cards, but I would put it above these other cards here. So we'll put it at C. High C. Party Planner Volder, 6 mana for the 4/4 Battlecry. If you take an 8 damage on your turn, summon Ouroboros. It's going to be better than the other one. So I'll put it high B. I'll put it right above, right here, in the middle of the B. It'll be pretty good. Pretty interesting card, right? So that's Warlock. Not much to talk about there. Pretty quick. And here we get to Warrior, one of the latest revealed classes, Ham the Hungry. Druid Tourist. At the end of your turn, eat a minion in the enemy's deck to gain +2/+2. I'm going to take a little bit of time to talk about this card because I think there's a lot of discussion about this card about whether it's good or bad. So obviously, it's good because of the tourist effect, right? Like, obviously, this is good. It gives you access to ramp. Like, this is a new 3-mana ramp card, and, you know, there are druid cards that Warrior will flat out play for sure. This is great. Now, that said, how bad is the extra effect? So, this is, a lot of people compare this to Nosferatu, which is a 2-mana, 2/3 Warlock card, which removed the top card of the opponent's deck from the game. When you think about removal and disruption, if you disrupt the hand with something like Mutinous, it's pretty effective. But if you disrupt the deck, it's not nearly as effective because if your opponent doesn't draw out every card in your deck, there's no guarantee that he would have drawn the card that you discarded from the deck anyway, right? This is the argument for things like Fell Reaver, tracking before it got buffed. And the same rings true here. At the end of your turn, if you eat a minion in the enemy's deck and you give this guy +2/+2, there's no guarantee that that minion would have seen play at any point in the game anyway, right? It wasn't in the opponent's hand. You didn't disrupt an opponent's immediate ability to affect the game. So it's a value effect. It's like a pure late game value effect. And it's a must deal with, right? Because obviously you have to kill the 5/5 or else it'll get bigger. And if you don't, you're going to lose more cards in the deck, which, you know, will add up. But I do want to stress the point here that this is in a class that traditionally can bring other decks to fatigue or to the final few cards in their deck, in which case that effect becomes amplified and much stronger. So I would say this card is a lot stronger than we are leading to be. I don't think it's OP. I don't think it's broken, but it is very strong. And as such, I will raise it to A. It is one of the better tourists in the game. Yeah, it's up there. This is quite good. So, Rye Cleaver, 7-mana, 4/2. It's an interesting card, but I think it's too expensive to really see play. I mean, yes, Warrior is a class that can play with expensive cards. But actually, you know what? I don't know. It might not be bad, right? The big Warrior is a thing here. Let's throw it somewhere into middle B. I don't know. This might see play. This, actually, I might try to come up with some creative big Warrior deck using this in one of the pirates, but we'll see. So a Warrior is gonna eat, man. It's gonna cook. Look, it has some crazy, crazy cards. So, all right. Now let's get to the neutral legendaries. These will be pretty quick to talk about. Mayor the Manager. This card is great. This is a strong card. One of the best cards in the deck. It's going to see a lot of play for the rest of the expansion. I'll put it pretty high up here. It's pretty good. So let's get it up there. Incendious, the 6-mana, 2/10 elemental. At the end of your turn, upgrade your eruptions. Battlecry, shuffle 5 eruptions into your deck. And those deal 1 damage to all enemies. It is good. I'm going to put it in high B because it'll only see play in a few decks, right, that can utilize it, but that is quite good. AFK, at the end of your turn, give all other minions that didn't attack +2/+2. This card is garbage. This worst card in the set. I don't see how this is playable. Maybe someone can make a meme with it and make it good. Grifta, the trusted vendor. Battlecry, discover an amazing amulet to give to both players. The amulet for your opponent is not as good as yours. It's a fake, right? So you have all these effects for you, and then, all the quasi effects for your opponent. This card will see play. It is actually going to be a pretty good play, but it requires a deck that is pretty versatile. As such, I'll put it in B. And lastly, we have Gorgonzola. 3-mana, 3/3 dragon. Battlecry, get a 2-cost cheese that summons 3 1-cost minions. And every turn, it goes up 1. So it becomes a 2-cost minion, 3-cost minion, so forth. This is a very, very good card. I think this will see play in many decks. Not every deck, but many, many decks. And it's going to be right up here, okay? This is one of the best cards in the set. Looking through ranks, I do think the Druid card's the best. I would probably do, yeah, like I think that's pretty fair for S tier. Here in the A tier, maybe even bringing Cavalry Star up there. Um, yeah, B tier, I feel pretty good about where this list is at. C tier, definitely, and F tier, definitely. So anyway, this is my list. Let me know what you think in the comments. Share yours with me, and yeah, stay tuned and look forward to more reveals and deck ideas in the coming future. Thanks for watching.